Good afternoon and welcome to our last webinar of 2023. So thank you for joining us. So today we wanted to reflect on some of the things that we saw in 2023 and we shared with you across the webinars and some of the other events, and perhaps highlight some of the things that are really important that you pick up on and we go across. So this is an idea of what we're going to cover today. We've got the whole of the business relationship team, business engagement team here to help take us through things. And as I mentioned, have your phones handy. There's QR codes as they're going to appear on screen if you're watching this on replay or live, but if you are watching it live, they'll also put the links into the live chat. On the replay, we will put the notes into the YouTube notes around this event. So I'm going to get Mike to come in first, and he's going to be covering about meetings and calendars. So Mike, can you take us through this?
Thank you, Dave, and good afternoon, everyone. It was really interesting watching this webinar back again. It took place just before the summer. And I think what reminded me with not only the meetings and the calendars is the basic opportunities that 365 and technology brings to reduce the amount of time and effort that we need to focus on with regards our everyday day-to-day. So with the first one, which was around finding time, and it's really looking at trying to set up a meeting across a number of people, it's just struck me again that we try and herd cats when we're trying to set a meeting up where we have more than 5-6 people, trying to find the right time for everyone, trying to find gaps in the diaries, toing and froing to make sure it works. This system and this opportunity really makes it very, very simple. You set up a very quick poll. You offer the dates and times where people can look for when they want to be available, and away you go. It's a wonderful way to cut down all the administration around finding the right time. It gives you that opportunity to be more effective and more efficient. And that takes us into the second one, which is around, if we can just move the slide on, please, Dave. There we go. Booking a meeting in. Now, whereas the last one was focusing very much on setting up a meeting across 5 or 6 people or more, this one focuses more on that one-to-one and giving people the opportunity to be proactive with the meetings. So if there is a particular topic that I wanted to pick up with Dave and I wanted to set a meeting with him, instead of me having to go to Dave and say, can I have a meeting with you, or having to go through diaries, I can actually pop in a request through the link that he has on his signature to turn around and say, right, okay, this is when I'd like to have a meeting. Dave has already got his calendar linked into the link. So what it will do is it will find the time that where we can have 30 minutes or an hour, whatever that length of duration is, where I can turn and say, Dave, I'd like to have a meeting. I know this time is good for you. I'll press the link and away we go. So I think both of these show us as an organization and working within policing how these tools are there to help us, are there to really reduce the time and effort, and perhaps more importantly helps us to become a little bit more effective and efficient in what we do and how we do it. I really recommend have a scan of the QR code that's up on the screen, have a look at the webinar. It's great to see Dave and Rich actually taking the bullet by the horns and actually demonstrating live, but more importantly it gives you some fantastic tips on how to be more effective and efficient in setting up meetings. Thanks, Dave. I think I'm going to hand over to you around about phishing now.
Yeah, and just a quick point on that one. That's most useful when you're meeting with people outside your organisation, and that's where the big win comes for both find time and booking. So do scan that QR code, and you'll see this sort of slide coming up quite a few times during today. So please keep your phones ready, look at the chat, copy the link down onto your notepad, and you can come back to it later. So a couple of the most popular webinars we had over the last 12 months have been around phishing and redaction. So I'm going to cover those two in the next section here. And phishing was a really popular webinar. It's certainly been replayed a number of times and shared across forces. And we talked about how proactively forces are now using the tools that they've got access to run campaigns for what they are effectively pushing out fake phishing attacks to help educate and to inform colleagues on how to protect themselves from the real phishing attacks and how to use that really important report phishing button that's sitting in Outlook. And I think, we've all seen the challenges around cybersecurity, and even in the news today, they're talking about ransomware and how prolific it is and how much of a threat it is. everybody who's using our Force IT has a responsibility to play their part. And if you see a phishing attack, if you see something that's not quite right, it's very simple for everybody as a user to use that reported phishing button. And that triggers off a whole range of actions that helps to protect our data and our systems, which ultimately means we can continue to serve the public and keep people safe. And without those systems, we haven't got it. So really worth replaying that webinar and going through that. It is a hugely prevalent issue impacting on policing. There's the QR code for that webinar in particular. And if you are ever struggling and don't know where to go, if you head to the PDS website, you'll be able to copy the link, go to the events section and replay the webinars and watch that one. But that's certainly something to think about, particularly if you've got any responsibilities for IT security, to have a look at how a couple of forces have been using the proactive approach for it. But everybody can learn something about how to protect the estate across the board. Another piece of work that's been very popular, and we had a fantastic workshop just last week with over just short of 300 people taking part in a workshop around redaction. And what was very clear is across policing, we've got tools that can help us do redaction, but many of us don't know how to use them and aren't aware of them. And the feedback we got from the audience about how they're currently redacting is they're manually doing tools and applying redaction, or they have very limited experience of redaction. And we needed to also define what redaction is. And redaction is the redaction or sanitization, importantly, of removing sensitive information from a document that needs to be distributed elsewhere. And there's lots of standards around it. Again, this is something that there are already tools that are in existence and available to forces to be able to use and for colleagues to be able to use. The Redaction Made Easy webinar is just 25 to 30 minutes of very simple hints and tips that can help anybody who's got responsibility for redacting a document. And that could be a frontline officer who's got to redact things ready to go to court, somebody in the criminal justice process, or it could be somebody in the back offices or in other functions such as freedom of information teams, public access information, or even finance and HR, where they need to redact documents before they're shared further on. The tools are there. Have a look at the webinar and really take a few minutes to learn some quite useful skills to help you out as we move forward. That's just some of the solutions we spoke about. So I'm going to ask Gemma now to take us through some of the other solutions that have been particularly interesting to forces over the last 12 months.
Yeah, so thanks, Dave. So first of all, I'm just going to talk through the solution catalogue and just explain a little bit about it for forces that aren't aware of it and just how to access it. So this is a place of curated content that could be accessed by forces. It's basically locally developed apps that are being shared nationally onto the catalogue. The apps work with the common blueprint, and the forces that add the apps to the catalogue also include documentation. So this assists forces when they're deploying the app locally. There's no expectation for ongoing support for the force that's uploading the app. It's basically a place to share what they've done so other forces can benefit from it. Any updates to those apps are also shared through the catalogue, but it's best to keep your business engagement manager updated on what solutions you have deployed so that they can make you aware of any updates that do come. You basically access the catalogue through the PDS tenant where you can view and download the apps. However, just to point out, it is your local IT department that will be deploying the apps into the force. So you should always link in with your Microsoft 365 lead or your technical admin to do this. And once they're downloaded, the apps can be customised locally, so you can adapt them to fit the local needs. So how do you access the catalogue? Well, the best way and easiest way really is to just go to the PDS website. You'll find a link to the catalogue there. You'll see the apps there, and this is where you will gain access to the PDS tenant. So there is a link that you just fill in your details and you'll gain access. Once you have access, you will be able to look through the catalogue. You'll have access to the teams site. You'll have the force collaboration team as well, so you'll be able to interact with other forces and ask questions and raise any issues on within the tenant. So I'm also going to talk specifically about a couple of apps and really what's coming in 2024. So firstly, MyCJ app. This is currently on the catalogue, one of many. There's over 40 solutions currently on the catalogue. And this is one of the most popular apps that have been downloaded, to the point that now we've set up a national forum, and this is represented by 15 forces, and we meet quarterly. There's also a channel in the force collaboration team to be able to interact between meetings, and there's been some really great discussions about how to further develop the app and really, you know, make this better and improve it as we go forward. You can scan the QR code as well to watch the webinar on the MyCJ app to see if it's something that your force wants to deploy. So scan the QR code now. But really what I want to talk about as well, so sort of building on this approach to working more collectively, more collaboratively as forces with developing apps. We've actually been working on a couple of solutions that hopefully will be coming in 2024. So firstly, if I just mention the vehicle check app, this has seen the creation of the working group, and forces have come together to discuss the requirements, the national requirements, and to build on the work that BCH have done in relation to an app that they've developed for checking police vehicles and basically digitising what is, you know, commonly in forces a paper process. We've got to the point now where we've had a gold partner, Kainos, working with the group to provide some professional advice and opinion around developing this app and supporting the group so that we can get to a national set of requirements. So hopefully we'll be seeing this on the catalogue in the new year. We've also been made aware of a couple of other forces working in this space. So Cleveland have also got a solution to this. So there's lots going on and lots to come. And next, I just wanted to mention DVPN, again, a collective approach to developing this. So we've got West Yorkshire GMP, Avon and Somerset working on this with a gold partner, Tisky, to agree the requirements of the app. This is going into pilot phase with West Yorkshire early in the new year, and hopefully it'll be available on the catalogue soon after. HMIC FRS have been very supportive of the solution. It's free to policing, and the intellectual property rights do belong to policing. The working group's also in consultation with the Home Office on this one to see if there's the solution can be transferable to the new DAPN process. So this is really encouraging, and lots of discussions on this moving forward. So now I'm going to hand over to Esther, who's going to talk about Innovation Today.
Thanks, Gemma. So I wanted to, as Gemma said, speak to you about our Innovation Today events, a little bit about the event we held earlier in the year in West Midlands HQ, but also looking forward to our next event not long after Christmas, 18th of January in Merseyside. The premise of the event is to have 5 force-led presentations, so forces with their suppliers showcasing a wide range of solutions that have brought transformational change within their forces. The solutions that are showcased are all live in forces, so we're not looking at pilots or proof of concepts. Back, please, Mike, sorry. And the idea is that the forces then present the ideas themselves, so you get kind of the real view of what it is for that force to work with that supplier and implement that solution, rather than their glossy sales pitch from a sales rep. The event in April, like I said, West Mids HQ had over 80 delegates from across 22 forces. So we had people come from many different roles. We had CTOs, heads of change, procurement and IT professionals. The ACC stayed for the entire day. So the day was not just about the solutions themselves. There was also a great networking event, and with time to have the time in the agenda to build in those conversations. As for the solutions themselves, we had Avon and Somerset with EBC, so demonstrated their solutions for digitising magnetic tapes. So Avon and Somerset have all their old VHS tapes of ABE interviews, which were past their the shelf life. So these have been digitised and transferred into the cloud, where they're easily identifiable and retrievable. We had West Midlands and Cloudera and their cloud-based platform that was used to better manage and streamline their data and all the insights that has brought with it. Had Cumbria and SAR present their unified contact solution with a particular focus on the identification and support for vulnerability, be that victims or officers who've attended traumatic events. We had Suffolk and Future presented an AI-assisted call management and triage solution, which allows staff to manage or contact handlers to manage multiple calls at once, so they can free capacity up to focus on the calls with high vulnerability. And finally, Devon and Cornwall and Adobe Sign Live Sign to facilitate the taking of statements remotely, which is particularly beneficial considering the geography of that jurisdiction, the long journey times from one end to the other, and as the high transient population during the long holiday season. So that was for the day, but conversations have continued in force since the event, with forces offering to share their business cases, lots of signposting and some regional workshops. So if you'd like to hear more about that event, you can review the webinar we did about the event, but equally, please do contact your business engagement manager if you're interested in hearing more about those solutions or the things that followed on. So looking forward to the next event in Merseyside on the 18th of January. The day will be the same format as before, the same premise. It's a great venue, purpose-built venue, good location, good transport links, lots of parking. And so far we have selected 4 suppliers, the 5th to be confirmed shortly. So we have got GMP with their BlackBerry ad hoc contact management platform. This was commissioned following the Manchester Arena attack and some of the suggestions that came out after that. So it's to handle their contact in a major incident, but that is coming to its own as a tool to manage daily operational demands in the contact space. We have Northants and Program Framework, which is a 365-based solution to look at it holistically across all your project program portfolio management, so you can see your risk registers, your Gantt charts, etc. But it focuses on being able to see it holistically, so that, for instance, if you need to move resource from one to another, you can see the impact across the piece. You can see it gives you your Power BI, so you've got your MI, but also you can see it visually. We've got Lincoln and Trilateral Research with their Cesium solution using ethical AI data sets to help assess and prioritise the safeguarding of vulnerable children. And finally, Northumbria and their Nutshell app, which is to help frontline officers signpost people to the appropriate support services following contact with the police. So yeah, that's what we have. Again, looking for places, 2 places before us to start off with, again, looking at CTOs, change leads, procurement. We've got over 50 people signed up already, including MPCC leads and College of Policing. So yeah, looking forward to see you on the day. So please use the link to register for the event. So handing over to Russ.
Thank you very much, Esther, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to give you a brief update of another event early in the next new year, which is being hosted jointly with the College of Policing and PDS, looking at revolutionising and bringing up to speed learning and development within policing to sort of embrace technology that is out there and almost future-proof it to make it more efficient in the future. I mean, we're working alongside not necessarily just L&D only. We want technology, business change and communications colleagues from all across the UK to meet face-to-face at this event. It's a great opportunity there to explore what opportunities technology can bring to modernising the approach to police learning and development, providing the opportunity for good news stories from forces that have already successfully adopted new ways of working out there, and spreading that knowledge wider through collaboration on the days. Discover what technology is currently available for policing and what is being developed in the future. We will be getting a number of partners to attend the event as well to show what is the currently available and what is the art of the possible in the future. And the view to this is using this event to create a series of national conferences in future years where learning and development can be at the forefront of all technology and digital transformation within policing, bringing it into all the projects on there. So the details will be coming out very, very, very soon. Hopefully today or tomorrow you should get the first invites into forces for there. But obviously there's a QR code there where you can already register to join. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you at the College of Policing next year. So I'll hand over to Richard, who's going to talk about webinars and workshops in 2024.
Thanks very much, Russ. Well, the webinar elves have been busy, as you'll see from a smorgasbord of webinars planned for the new year. We really are intending on slaying the new year when it arrives. We've got a list of booked in webinars already, and I'm just going to very briefly talk you through some of those events. So kicking us off, one of our regular contributors, Warwickshire Police, on the 10th of January, we'll be talking about through the new and revised, new and enhanced burglary power app, originally released about 12 months ago in Humberside with the support of TISCI. Warwickshire have really gripped this solution and added some new innovation and change. And so there's a launch of that at the webinar on the 10th of January. Then we move into the middle of January, and we're looking forward to a week of action in neighbourhood policing, and the webinar will be there to sort of showcase some of the amazing work that's being done by the MPCC lead ACC shooter in that arena. We presented on 4 solutions at our M365 event in Staffordshire. We're hoping to do a bit of a précis of those solutions at that webinar and really give a flavour and a push towards the week of action. Then we're on to the 24th of January, where we're doing a retrospective on the Innovation Today event, some of the high points that are covered at the event on the 18th. You've already heard from Esther about the content of that event, so very much a summary of our findings from the event. Then finally, our last one for January, the final one we've got some nailed in dates for, it will be a guest access type webinar looking at hosting a national collaboration. There's a number of work streams underway. We're hoping to report back in an update on that at the back end of January. So very much looking forward to that, and I know that will be of huge interest. Also in the planning, but no dates yet confirmed, but we are very keen to get them lined up as and when we can. And very quickly, we've got a session on P&LD, which is really a webinar about the Police National Legal Database, and it'll showcase the critical service that they provide to UK Home Office police forces and how they've embraced modern technology to ensure that users can access criminal law updates in real time. And then we move to the West Mids, where they've done some phenomenal work over the last 6 to 8 months around the 365 platform. And we're going to showcase the work that's been done around the SharePoint intranet within that force. And again, really, really great case study there. We've got a piece of work to showcase County Lines Power App that was developed in the Met. And more details on that will follow. Kent have agreed to come on the webinar broadcast and talk about a dangerous dog solution that they've got. Quite a simple solution, but really, really effective and very pertinent for the new year, given the XL bully dog issue that many forces are experiencing. We've also got a webinar lined up around the DVPM process. Gemma's already talked about that power app that will be going in the catalogue in the new year, and we want to support that power app with a webinar that will look at the features of the application. And finally, last but not least, we're going to look at accessibility and power app design, something that has been flagged to us as engagement managers on a number of occasions. So we're going to really have a feature on that and talk through the capabilities. So really a real sack full of webinars for the new year, brought to you not by Father Christmas, but by your wonderful PDS engagement team. And back over to you, Dave.
And thanks for all the Christmas puns, Richard. Appreciate the effort put into them. So those are the online events that you can take part in, but there's a lot more going on as we look forward into 2024 as well. So the Change Champions meeting tomorrow, which Rich helps to pull together. There's a police only meeting there, but highlighting some of the other things there. You've already heard about the innovation today, but we're involved in things like the City Forum. There's a workshop on the firearms decision and policy log app. The modern learning and development workshop we've already mentioned, but we're also going to be looking ahead to some absolutely huge events where the Police Digital Service will be there to engage with for people across forces who perhaps don't know enough about us at the moment. So there is the huge security and policing event in March, which is invitation only. You have to apply to go. We have some events with our partner Tech UK in the summer. We are already planning ahead for the Police Digital Summit, which are in the autumn, and we're hoping to increase our involvement in the Emergency Technology Show in September as well. So lots of things. So what my plea is, have a look at the PDS events page. We're constantly updating it as things get confirmed. We put all the details on there, how to register and how to get involved. Just a reminder again of the Change Champions meeting tomorrow. Invitation for police colleagues only. If you scan the QR code or you just head over to the PDS website, fill in the form and I'll be passed to Richard and he'll give you an opportunity to get you involved. Now, this is the last webinar of 2023, and we know from your feedback that the webinars are really valuable to you. We do need that feedback because it helps us to invest our time and effort in these, and it goes huge thank you to the team who helped pull these together. We'll bring them all on camera in a second, but if you do have a moment, please scan that QR code or click the link and give us some feedback on the webinars, and particularly if you've got an idea of things that you'd like to be seen on the webinars that you think there's an opportunity for us to use this format to share more with, please do share that with us through that approach. And obviously you can always reach out to your business engagement team if you need any more on that and want to find any more details. So we really are keen to hear from you. So we'll bring the whole of the business engagement team onto the screen. Remember, you can get in touch anytime through the PDS website and the form, and it does allow us to deal with it quickly. I will come back to the comments in a second, but just a reminder, we are a little behind on posting our YouTube recordings of webinars at the moment. We'll catch up before Christmas. So there's my Christmas present back. The edited webinars will be back online before Christmas. But do subscribe and click like. And then whenever we do post one, if you haven't made it to the live event, then it's your opportunity to get back involved and to be able to replay. Nice comment there from Stephen around the updated Right Care, Right Person solution that he's put forward. We'll look into that and make sure that's available. So again, thank you very much for that. And I know Richard's got back to you on that. For those of you who've joined our webinars, and we do have a list of people, and we have got some frequent flyers who've joined many times over the year. Thank you. We wish you a Merry Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year as we start our next series of events, whether they be digital, online, or in person. Hopefully we'll see you in Merseyside or at some of the other events that are going on. But please get in touch with us if there's something you need to know from us or you think we should be covering. Get in touch with us through the Contact Us page. But for today, thank you very much, and we will see you again in the new year.